Oh, you're not good at pro clubs, then.
Sorry, if you sit there, then those three can sit.
Let's hope this doesn't fall off the wall.
That's all.
Josh, have you come across our show yet?
Right, so this
Right,
is
so
kind of where our frame
just give you
ends.
an idea what it's all about.
Cool.
So we started this in November. We basically,
Jesus, Tyler, why would you go and sit there?
I've been a town fan all my life, apart from South East London. That's where I travel up from.
No.
That's what's up.
Kidnaps me along, yeah.
Jay's local.
Who'd have thought?
Ty's local.
Yeah.
Basically, we were just literally when we were just chatting away one night and we were like, we should do a show. I ended up on I think it was Alexi Laylass's show on his Spaces. Didn't realise how easy it was, and I was like, we could do that ourselves. So we started it, just threw it together in November.
Pub chat.
Yeah, literally like pub chat type stuff.
Yeah.
Cutting the story short, we had recently we've had Charlie Austin was on. We had like about 2,500 people, and it's just like mushrooming. It's really good. Pigs has done a bit.
Pigs to speak about.
But we've had recently we had quite a few people from the Canyo era. We had a few others from Wales this time. But we've had it really well. So it's gone really well. Right, I'm going to start speaking then because it's a bit
Are we going to be alright? Are we going to be alright with the FIFA rivalry?
Yeah.
Right then, boys, we're all ready for the start, are we?
That is cozy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
It's
someone's got this thing on.
6 o'clock. It is the Sir Tom Broadbent Lounge, and today we're live from the County Ground Kit Room. First time I've set foot in here before, and we are surrounded by Kit Room royalty. Say hello, boys.
How are you, alright?
All right. Steve, good to see you. Thanks for having us, gentlemen. And parked just to my left, we've got a hero from the weekend, Mr. Reed. How are we?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Why did you refuse to take my firstborn at the weekend? I offered him to you on Twitter. I offered him to you in
Yeah,
person.
I
He's
get
here
offered
now.
off.
I can't get rid of him.
It's constant to be
Anyway,
fair.
take my firstborn. He's out. Please do. Willow, how are you? Johnny Williams, also to my left. Willow, great to see you, mate. Thanks for coming on. And big Josh Davison to my left. How are we, Josh?
Yeah, all good,
Thanks for coming along. Also snaking in at the back of the room, we've got Mr. Payne. Jack, how are we?
How are you? Alright?
Very well, thank you.
Nice.
And the man with the biggest screen in Swindon Town, we've got Harry McKirdy. How are you, Harry?
Yeah, good, cheers.
Thanks for popping in, lads. Right, so format's really straightforward, guys. If any of you haven't been on the show before, it's really conversational, right? So very, very casual. Normally we're after the watershed for good reason, as you can probably imagine, but we're not today, obviously, and I appreciate the fact that we're in the County Ground tonight, and we're told that we've got to be on our best behaviour, so we're going to endeavour to do that. So I'm Mark, it's my co-host Tyler, Jay from the Great Western Reds. We've got Rich from our sponsors, Very Logic, over on the screen because he's up in Doncaster, joining us remotely is Dan Designs, our other partner for tonight, and our man on the camera, of course, is Arch. And then, last but not least, the first lady of the Top Broadbent Lounge is Debs over in the corner. Thanks everyone for coming along. First things first, guys. Bloody hell, Saturday you put us through it, didn't you? Thanks ever so much. I've literally got no nails left. My central nervous system shot to bits.
Why is everyone looking at me? I didn't miss that.
I guess I'm sat in the town end, guys, and I think from our perspective, the collective feeling was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. The season was done and dusted, and it wasn't a question of necessarily the fans were waving the white flag, but I think anyone that's been watching enough football, I think you just sort of look and you think that's a mountain to climb. Like, try and win all those remaining games. And it's not necessarily like a lack of faith, because there's supreme footballing ability throughout the side. That's so obvious. Without a shadow of a doubt, best footballing team in the division on our day. But some of the inconsistency, I think, have got the fans. And you've got to remember as well, Swindon Town's been through 20, certainly, I've been a fan 30 years, 20 of those. Mate, there's a reason I've got nothing on my head. And it's this football club that's done it to me. So, it's a South East thing, mate. It's a South East thing. We're all prone to it. Something to do with the pylons, I reckon. But then obviously we've gone on this mad run last few weeks. Were you? I guess I don't know how you want to do this. Whether you want to talk about this individually or what. Was there ever any doubt that we had it in us to kind of put ourselves in a position where last game of the season we are now like, it's in our hands, back in our hands. 2 weeks ago it went in our hands. Incredible effort. Like, anything you guys want to add to that?
I said it'd come back and save us, innit?
You said you got 20 goals in them new boots as well.
Yeah, it's them white boots. They only work once, so.
How do you manage it though? How do you manage to keep your boots on? You don't do your laces up there. How do they stay on your feet? Have you just got abnormally big feet and small boots?
Put
Or?
glue on my socks before the game, innit? And I stick to it.
Glue on socks.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it works.
Payne, you've obviously been with the club a while, and off the back of last season as well. I said there's a reason I'm bald. Off the back of last season as well, coming into this year.
Yeah,
If you look at the start of the season and obviously where we were at the back end of July,
yeah.
and now you look at obviously where we're at, could you ever have seen that happening? Being like your heart of hearts.
No, I thought the club was gonna go bust in the summer. I'll be honest. There was a stage.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a stage. Obviously, we weren't getting paid. Like I was checking Twitter most days, thinking something's gonna come up at some point saying that the club's going under. So from that point, that was like 3 weeks before the season started to where we are now. It's like night and day really. So I'm buzzing with how things have gone this season.
Like I'm going to make you two boys like blush a little bit now, because there was a point of the season. I mean, definitely I was definitely on Jack's level in terms of how I felt. And you've got to remember, like as fans, it's so important to our mental health. Like right up, smack bang in the middle of the lockdown situation, you know, we'd all taken a complete battering from that. Next thing you know, we're playing Peterborough at the county ground, and we've got Welsh international Jonny Williams being paraded around in front of us. Like in the space of literally a couple of weeks, Jack. That must have been like scrambled egg brain
Turnaround
stuff.
was the mad bit. Like it weren't even like the takeover happened, and slowly we got like within the space of 2 weeks we've gone from thinking the club was done to, like you say, some of the players were brought in and first game of the season Scunthorpe, and it's like, oh my god, like we're looking alright all of a sudden, and then that's when you start looking up and start getting carried away in that. So yeah, like you said, the turnaround was crazy.
Well, look, I'm the idiot on Twitter that makes all the mugs with all of you lot on them. I've literally got a couple full of them in my kitchen.
Yeah, I'd just be
But
fair,
I
Mum's
literally,
getting
Jack,
well angry.
to your point, I've got a mug in my bloody cupboard at home that I literally said like it's the miracle of Scunthorpe. That's where my head was at. I was like, there is no way we can go from. I mean, I never played any kind of standard anywhere near this, but I played an alright standard as semi-pro, and I really understood. I played for a couple of clubs where pre-season was rubbish. So from a pro point of view, and particularly having watched the players through the Paolo Di Canio era and the importance of pre-season friendlies, and even going back as far as Lou Macari, when you guys get beasted pre-season, understanding the importance of a good pre-season, I was literally like, there's no way, I can't see it. I just can't see how you guys will get enough in the tank to like get you right through a season. So I think going back to where we were talking about 2 weeks ago, where we were thinking, my vibe was like, have you guys run out of gas? So, blimey, what a season! Loads of ups and downs. So Josh, like, it must be coming from your perspective then. So you come in sort of effectively halfway through the season. You missed all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
What did that have any kind of bearing though when you came in? Like, was there any kind of remnants to that feeling when you came in? Or
No, so when I came in, it was bouncy around the place. Like, I think it was high on the table. Everyone was giving it a good go. I saw the players that we had as well. Like, coming in, I thought, wow, we'll give it a proper go.
yeah.
So it's been a good journey so far.
And I mean, Jonny, like, where does that sit in your sort of footballing brain, mate? You come in as a Welsh international, we come into Swindon Town. Obviously, we know we're a big club. We know that we've fallen on our times over the last 20 odd years. We're in the Premier League. I even remember the Premier League days. That's how old I am. But where? I mean, what was going through your mind as you've come into the club? Like what? Because for us, we were like, how's that happened? Like genuinely, how has that happened? And watching I was in the town in that day. You were over the moon to be here. That was obvious. You got a great reception from the support. Where was your brain at when you pitched up on day one?
I think I got to a point in my career where I wanted to be happy, and I have been on the whole here. And I believed in the squad that we'd get promoted. And I think, if we'd have gone to Walsall with a game left, with a chance of getting promoted still, I'd have taken that. So
yeah,
I'm happy with how it's gone.
And how we ended up snagging you, Louis, I think most fans were like, hang on, like because it was a little bit, I don't know, sorry, I mean, look, when we signed Granty, the first time we signed Granty, I remember there was a general chatter amongst Swindon Town fans that, like, how have we got him and why have we got him? And I'm not quite sure, because the general consensus was like, you couldn't really see where Grantley was going to fit in, or there wasn't a huge amount of awareness of what Grantley would bring to our club at that time, just amongst the support base. With all due respect to you, Louis, I was a similar guy because people were talking you up as a player. We knew where you'd been on trial, like during the summer. But then we suddenly got hold of you as well, and we're like, hang on a second, like, how are we pulling these rabbits out of hats? Like, where was your head at when you pitched up? What were you finding?
I'll be honest, a big reason I came is because of how the manager spoke about the place, and then I saw the likes of the people that were here. Obviously, I've played against Payne for 5-6 seasons. Been up against each other. Saw that he was in, Jonny was signing, and the players that were here, and it ended up being a no-brainer for me, really.
Yeah, absolutely no-brainer. Well, listen, I mean, look, from our perspective, I'm sure, like, certainly everyone in this room would echo, like, there are. So, but Mr. Huntsnut, when did you stay here? When did you stay here? And I was chatting away, so the Hunt's joined us as well. So, Rob, I was just about to give Jack all the praise, but obviously, of you guys, two of you that remained in the summer, I've called you in the car park on a couple of occasions and said this to you, but like, it's enormous for us that you guys hung around in the summer, and listening to what the guys are saying now, the importance of you guys hanging around and what it meant to them, being aware of who you were, coming to the club, like an endorsement of the ambition, etc. I think that certainly brings a little bit of faith in. But certainly from a supporters' point of view, we all went through the ringer. I'm sure Jonah and Steve, who even though they're at the club, supporters at their heart. Cheers for digging in, boys, and cheers for staying with us. Like, it does mean a huge amount, and as you see, hopefully your faith's been well placed. Must be exciting for you all now, though. So putting all the nonsense of the summer to one side, like, what a season it's been. Like, looking ahead now, I mean, everything's in our own hands going into the final game of the season. We've got certainly beatable opponents in all the playoff spots at the moment. Even if you look at the clubs that are in the autos dropping down, I'm guessing there's no one in there that draws any fear for you guys from a playing point of view either.
Well,
I think the team to fear, if anything. I don't think there'll be many teams want to play us over 2 legs. But
Especially not at Wembley either.
Yeah, we'll just see.
On a big pitch.
We'll see what happens. Got to get through Saturday first, and then whatever's meant to be is meant to be.
So, like, we've got the form going now, so
It's fine, we're finishing third anyway.
to be fair,
What was it?
I would just
0.6%
like
chance?
Rovers home
It's
and
going to
away.
happen.
No.
No, not because we're beaten.
Sound like a pussy geezer.
It's that away attendance. It's going to be so small again. But when we went there early this season, I think we had like 700. So
Agent Grant's already been on, mate. Don't worry, he's got it all locked down. He's Agent Grant.
I ain't got that enough. Rely on him, we got no chance.
Wouldn't have a bad word to say.
Right then, so we've got some awards to give out, guys. So we've got 16 categories, okay? 3 of them have been voted for by the fans. We've had thousands of votes across those 3 categories, all right? So we're going to walk you through. Got some a couple of slightly humorous awards, but ultimately it's all come off the back of our show. So Dan's part of the voting panel, as you can see on the screen. Say hello again, Dan.
How good, boys?
Rich is part of the voting panel from Verilogic, our other partner. You've got myself and Tyler, and then where required, Arch has been the deciding vote. All right. So
No, that's a lot of you don't need to say that.
do you want to take centre stage here and start rustling through our awards?
Yeah.
Go on, mate. Get involved.
A little bit of parkour to get around the back.
Parkour. So
first up.
So you boys, some of your celebrations this year, boys, you've been getting some, what we've been referring to as some serious strong air. Some of you guys have been taking off and going absolutely miles in the air, some of which we've been trying to make a bit of a fuss about on Twitter with the hashtag Great Levitating Men of Town. He's not here today, but can I ask you, Josh, to receive the inaugural Great Levitating Man of Town award?
Yeah.
To Ben Gladwin, and there was a reason that Ben Gladwin received that award. So the idea about this is there's some photography that has been taken of you lot celebrating your goals this year, and it's just those wonderful moments where it literally looks like you can just click on it. I don't know if you're familiar with InDesign or anything like that, but you can just click on you guys, move you anywhere on the screen. just bizarre, like some of the images. But there was a particular reason why Payne Gladman won that award, and we just say that he looked a little aroused in that picture. He looked a little aroused. So we thought you might just want to put that in his little dressing room holder and see if he can realise why he's won that award himself.
I tried to emphasise that on the print as well.
Yes, you've done. You've done very well. You've done very well. There you are. First award. All I'll do, fellas, is urge you to look at the original. It was his Conor McGregor moment, if you get where I'm coming from. Round of applause then for Payne Gladman. What's our second award, Ty?
I mean, Harry's not going to be happy he didn't win this one. But next up, we've got the.
You should have been a shoe-in for this, Harry. You should have been an absolute shoe-in for this.
You've got to blame him over at Verilogic for robbing you of this.
I've heard about this.
Verilogic had very, very strong views on this, Harry, and it was nothing against you, but there was a moment this season where the gaffer himself actually broke the mould and was an absolutely riotous shithouse. Go on, Ty, fill them in.
Shithouse of the year has gone to Bangana against Bristol Rovers. I said you, but I didn't the post Bradford ones. No, I thought that's what they've given it to for giving it the large after.
I think the problem with you, Harry, there was too many options to go with. So at least with the gaffer, there was one.
Yeah, he put his arms up once, didn't he?
There's still the two gassheads in the crowd on a recording having a pop at each other about Ghana though. That's
he just seemed to just he triggered something a little extra special in the stands that day, and I think certainly from our point of view, I thought he played a real lovely straight bat in the build up to that game. No, it doesn't bother me going back to Rovers. And then there was that lovely moment at the end of the game where I think everybody said, yeah, it definitely mattered to the gaffer. So, if you've not heard the audio from the crowd yet, Harry?
No, I've not seen it.
You want to listen to that, you'll get it. I think you'll allow that one.
If you can understand it. It needs subtitles, but it's...
Bristol accent.
Yeah, I think you'll allow that one. I think you'll be forgiving. So who wants to do it? Well, it would seem only right then, Harry, that you receive that on behalf of Steve, you're going to have to step up there and receive that on behalf of the gaffer. 2021-22 Shithouse of the Year award goes to Bengana. Round of applause.
Should be my award, that.
Near Salford.
So we're back on the heartstrings for our old football club. We talked about the summer, the state the club was in the summer, and obviously on the playing side, there are a group of you that stuck around, dug in, and as we said, thanks for that, guys. But there was also a huge amount of staff behind the scenes as well, who I know that you all know that did just that. So we had a Club Hero Award, but it seemed only right that we awarded it to you guys as a collective. So I'm going to mention all the names on here, and we have got the Club Hero Award for 2021-22 is going collectively to, from a playing point of view, Jojo Woolacott, Jordan Lydon, Ellis Iandolo, Dion Conroy, Rob Hunt, Matthew Bowdry, Harry Parsons. And then we've got Steve Mildenhall, Lee Peacock, Steve Hooper and Jonah Isaacs.
You didn't say Payne,
didn't say Payne.
Yeah, Josh Payne's on there too.
Josh Payne.
Yeah, Josh Payne. No, sorry, Josh Payne's on there as well.
Josh Payne.
Have you not seen the Twitter admin? Yeah, the Twitter
James
admin.
Brady, Sean Wood, Alex Pike, Liam Tyndall, Megan McLaughlin, Matt Walters, Bailey Copeland, Danny Lee, Vicky Isles, Jordan Higgs, Amy Wilkins, Jill Strange, Sarah Stevens, Fred Brown, Matthew Vernon and Chris Abrook. Rob, would you like to get up and collect this, mate, on your both in terms of your name and on behalf of all the staff? The Club Heroes of 2021. Over to you, Ty.
If my mates are watching, they're going to hate me for this. But so you've got the Outstanding Achievement Award for 21-2022, and that's gone to Jojo Woolacott getting to the World Cup with Ghana, which, I mean, for a team in the fourth tier, having someone qualifying for a World Cup is a bit been outrageous for us, really. So,
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
Johnny, beat the Scots, mate, and we'll get you one of them as well. Right, Scots, Ukrainians, get them done. We'll see you all winter.
Whichever one.
Yeah, so who would like to collect this on behalf of Jojo, given that he's not here?
Yeah, Jonny.
Johnny, you'll get it, won't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, go on, Jonah. Come on, Jonah.
2021-22 Outstanding Achievement Award. Jojo Woolacott. Qualification to the World Cup. Next up, we've got the 2021-22 Save of the Season award. So obviously, it's only going to go to one of potentially 2 of them because the other lad's not played a minute of the first team football yet. And this is going to Lewis Ward's save against Rodri against Manchester City. Come on, Harry, you'll collect this. Surely you're up the other end. At least you're
gave them
relevant.
3 goals, actually.
Still make one decent save,
Save of the season nonetheless goes to Lewis Ward. Who wants to collect this on behalf of Lewis?
Okay.
Yeah, Josh, there we go, mate.
That is brutal.
It's only sort of fair we do these 2 together, which sort of gives it away. So, next up we've got the top scorer and assist king for 21-2022, and this one doesn't need a vote, it's obvious who's getting it. So, congratulations, Harry.
Well done, Harry. Harry! That's a 3 out of 2 wins. Harry, at the start of the season.
Jesus Christ, I've got enough of Dan sprints as it's already.
Get me a Donny one.
No worries, mate.
Top tier squirrel, Donny.
Road,
What's the season been like for you, Harry? In terms of obviously your expectations when you pitch up versus where you're at now. Obviously, still got a load of ground to cover. Are we ahead of where you expected to be in your heart of hearts when you first came to Swindon Town?
Yeah, probably I would have just took playing really. I would have just took the club. I needed a job, so that's why I was in somewhere that no one wanted to touch me. So it was lucky that Swindon was fucked, so I could come in.
But that's a silver lining.
But come here, you did, and would you have envisaged that you'd have notched this many goals?
I think last season I would have. Like, this is how I thought last season was going to go. I was going to kick on, but then last season didn't go like that. So it kind of like just kind of forgot and just got, I wouldn't say got my head down, but just played and enjoyed it again. And it's mad what can happen when you have fun in it.
Yeah, but you have got your head down. You're just being you, weren't you?
Yeah.
So it's not like you've not had to come here and reinvent yourself, have you?
No, I've just been allowed to be myself, really. Yeah, it's worked. So.
Would you say it's not been the case at other clubs you've been at, that they've tried to rein you in a bit and stifle
you
you
they
from
try and
being
do
you?
that. I think I got to the stage where managers thought it was kind of like a free pass. If we can get him playing, then I'm a genius, and if we don't, well, he's trouble, isn't he? So we'll just get rid of him. But none of them are in a job now, so it doesn't matter.
Jesus Christ.
Okay then.
Well, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, mate.
Another award.
It's just paying 80% of the time, and it works.
No, my favourite way in this season was Carlisle, and the fact you got to do what you did up there after the sort of treatment you got was brilliant. And I think you enjoyed it. That was
that was my
obvious.
favourite day of the season. I fucking hate them.
Oh my god.
Right. So, goal of the season. So, Hoops and Jonah, I'd like you to present this one. Obviously, we were there. I was there that night. And it's one of those goals that when you see it go flying in top bins, you just sort of stand there. It seems to take an eternity from the point it leaves your foot to the back of the net. A little bit like you at the weekend, mate, to be fair. It was literally like...
Yeah, that was...
What was it you said, Jonny?
Getting down at the front of the town.
It seems like when you watch the video...
Oh my god, yeah, it's going at 1 mile an hour.
Yeah, 1 mile an hour.
Yeah, no, in real life, seriously, that was rolling.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, really, really special goal that night. But Steve, I'll get you to present this to our winner, who I'm delighted to say is here. And it's
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Williams.
Cheers,
Talk us through, Jonny. Can you still remember the goal? So you've got any recollections of the goal yourself?
I don't really have that many shots, so I was just happy to shoot. And thankfully it went in top corner.
Yeah. Decent, obviously decent side, like defensively decent side, especially earlier in the season when we played against them. I seem to recall you picking it up on the left hand side, so certainly from a fan's point of view, we were obviously behind the goal, picking it up on the left hand side, cut across. I think you beat a couple of challenges and it opened up for you. Did you, what goes through your mind at that stage? Is it's like, because I mean, you're talking split second decisions, but did you know all the way you were just going to float that straight to the top corner, or?
I think, I don't know, that first half an hour of that game, the confidence throughout the whole team was just flowing. Like Reed had already stuck one in.
He thought,
free
well,
kick.
Reedy's done, I can do it better.
And we were, that first half an hour we were relentless, and I don't know, I was just confident. And just took a shot.
Yeah, I think that was also the start of the season where we talk about our away form. That was at a point of the season as well where we were just looking like absolutely invincible, like away from here, like absolutely invincible. And it's like the boys were saying when they first arrived at the ground, like those sort of like really pokey conditions, like to go to places like that and sort of like get a win. What I mean, you walk in, you turn up the county ground and compare to Sutton. Like what does that do? Like the psychology of to a footballer. I mean, you've all played at various different stages throughout your career, but the psychology of football. When you walk into a place like Sutton, what does that actually do to you? Because people talk about how dragging you down. It's like cross, don't want to play here.
You can tell Johnny's media trained because he just goes, I'm not saying anything.
I'm not saying who, but someone asked that night, like, is it an FA Cup game tonight? They thought it must have been. I wouldn't say who.
Like not. But it's you're not quite walking into park pitches, are you? But there's a very, very different. You can tell when a club's been in the Premier League. I'm guessing you can tell when a club's sort of like just come up from the non-leagues. How do you go about sort of essentially just sticking that to the back of your mind, getting out and just getting on with business? Is it just a question of telling yourself that and on we go?
I think once the game starts, you kind of forget your surroundings to a certain extent. Like obviously, if you're in a big stadium, you can feel the atmosphere. But yeah, I think once the game starts, you're just there and you're involved and just play the game really.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are, you still get the same 3 points for a win. So we had to beat them. So obviously, we could be getting them in the playoffs. So we'll see. Might have to go back there.
Let's hope we do.
I'm sure McKirdy will get a great welcome. After your comments the other day.
But well done, Jonny, mate. Cracking goal that night. And yeah, Louis, very close as well in relation to the free kick. Well, very close on a couple of your goals this season, mate. Yeah, very, very close in the voting.
Cheers, very close.
What have we got next, Ty?
Two we can sort of do together.
Oh yes, yes we are. Right, so this actually, Jay, we'll get you involved in this because the first of which has come from the fans themselves. So Jay Collett from the Great Western Reds.
The flag wavers.
Yeah, the flag wavers.
Yeah, so we've already been told that he didn't want to be here. No, anyway, yeah. So he's been in and out of the team for a few years, hasn't he? So. Through injuries, and yes. So I actually didn't vote on these, but the panel did, and Ellis has been given the award of most improved.
Most improved player. I think
7 years to improve.
Means he was shit for 7 years.
I think so. The context of this seemed to be amongst the fan chatter on Twitter was at the start of the season. Ellis was drawing a lot of stick. He was drawing a lot of stick from fans playing down the left-hand side, and as the season's gone on, coming to left centre midfield, and certainly from a fan's perspective, got to a stage where he's one of the first names on the team sheet. That would be all the patter in the stands before the game. He's not just won the fans award, but sorry.
He's also won our voted one, so.
He's won two most improved. He's doubly most improved.
100% most improved.
No, I think he deserves it. I mean,
he's had such a good year.
Just do not ask me.
The second you get,
don't ask Tyler.
Get him out of left back.
Do not ask
Jonah,
Tyler.
would you come and accept these on behalf of Ellis? So most of the fans, most of the
Jonah, he's not going to speak to
Yes, I am the
Yeah, you played a new enemy, Jonah. That's it.
Oh yeah, very much
Yeah,
so.
harsh.
So Josh, we'll get you to accept this on behalf of someone that's not here, because you were pretty much his direct replacement as far as we could see. Our fans' Young Player of the Year, across the categories we have thousands of votes for these awards, and our fans' Young Player of the Year this year is Tyrese Simpson.
Are young? Could you have? Did he qualify for it?
No, I didn't qualify for it.
Didn't qualify.
Did he tweet
qualify
about it?
too old?
Did he tweet it? Please vote for me.
I'm hearing you as well.
Have you all been getting texts asking to vote?
No.
Flies on the wall now.
Round of applause for Tyrese, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Tyrese. So, Josh, if you wouldn't mind accepting that on behalf of Tyrese. No worries. Well, we're all hoping that we'll see you both lining up alongside each other next season, but we'll move on swiftly from that conversation. And so that was the Fans Young Player of the Year award. And this was the Sir Tom Broadbent Lounge's own voted Young Player of the Year award. Again, sadly, can't be here. But which of you lovely gentlemen would like to accept the Sir Tom Broadbent Lounge Young Player of the Year as voted by us? Ricky Aguiar.
Slick Rick.
Slick Rick. Lovely. We can talk about him because he's not here, guys, but he's had, I mean, that is, in terms of kicking on, he's had quite a season, hasn't he? And from what we hear, he's a cracking lad as well behind the scenes.
I think that's the biggest thing. When he come, he was a bit quiet, didn't really get involved. And the transformation, it's true. He's now he's loud, he's funny, he's good to be around. His transformation, his personality, as well as on the pitch, has been massive.
He's got some of the best jokes.
Yeah, I wish he was here to tell us a joke.
Good trim as well.
Great trim.
Tell us one of those jokes.
Good looking lad.
I can't think of one. Top of my head.
In real terms, how difficult is it to make that move from non-league though? I appreciate the step up from the conference to League 2 now. It's not that big and it's so much more professional at the top end of that non-league pyramid. But how difficult, sort of, has it become like more of a psychological thing now, is what you're saying, guys? Or is it, because obviously you can see his physique's changed since he's first arrived at the club. Give us an idea of how hard it had to have worked. Like,
how do you think his physique's changed?
What, Aguilar's physique?
Yeah, that would.
I think he's meted out. I definitely think he's meted out.
Never have a gym to be fair.
Yeah, he's always been massive, hasn't he? Fucking monster.
He's injured a lot. He's injured a lot. But yeah, I think when he first came, his first time he moved away from home, he struggled a bit. But now he's got close to the lads. I think he's thriving off it. But yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, he went up to Chippenham, didn't he?
Yeah.
In January. So from
banging in goals down there as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, scored some goals and then come back and obviously got himself in the team and done really well when he was in it.
Is that so? So Harry, you're slightly different in what I was about to say. Talk about playing rhythm and fitness and whatnot, because there's been times where people have gone out the side and come back into the side, and you can see that they're kind of like just working to get that rhythm back, that match sharpness. You obviously had a period out the side, you come back in, it was just like it just didn't affect you. Does it affect different players in different ways, or is that just luck of the draw, or can that be like particularly intense depending on what position you're playing? Or because, yeah, as you say, he came back from Chippenham and he just seemed to be in a rhythm ready to go.
Yeah, I think you just look after yourself and eat the right things and that, and you'll be alright.
Hear your greens?
Yeah.
So you need to take a vitamins and drink your milk.
Crack on.
Lots of mine.
Right then.
I've got one question about Ricky. How many bottles of hair gel has he gone through this year?
It's a good question, to be fair.
Yeah, we all count. It's been 37 and a quarter.
You've got them all lined up.
There's always one left at the toilet in there.
So, and our next winner definitely is in the room, who we're pleased to know. Go on, Ty. After you.
So this one's for the best celebration this season. Harry, yours has become iconic, but you have missed out here.
No, that's alright. Payne really wanted to win this one.
It'd be glad because it's one off.
It's up there with his playoffs.
Has gone and won it. So, congratulations, Jack, for winning the celebration this season.
Take us through it again, Jack. I know you talked about it at the time, but take us through it because that took some rehearsals, didn't it?
Yeah. I learned it over lockdown, and then I've done it once in training. The lads buzzed off it, so I thought, next goal I score, I just knock it out, and I've not done one since. So yeah, I thought he was going to ask me to do one in here. I'm miles off it now. I won't be trying that any time again.
I'm more interested in. I learned it over lockdown. How many times did you land on your head?
Yeah, a few. Trial and error, I just kept going.
Well, was there a part here when you thought, I'm doing this now? Like, did you get stage fright at all before you went to do it?
Not really, but to be honest, I nearly didn't land it, and if I didn't land it, I'd have been devastated.
Getting subbed off now after goals.
I just about caught it, so I was buzzing, to be fair.
Harry, you're not going to go for it, are you?
What's that?
We're not going to get a flip out of you, are we?
No.
Not that kind of flip, anyway.
No, I couldn't do that.
Right then, this is your one, boys. Steve and Jonah.
Oh.
Would you like to say a little bit about our next winner?
Do you want me to?
It's more not really this year. It's more over a 3-year period. So Hunty's won Kitman's Player of the Year.
So he's not
2021.
No, he's been shit this season. No, the point is that in 3 years he hasn't lost a piece of kit. It's ridiculous. He doesn't leave anything in the changing rooms. He's got it all in the right way, in a pile ready for season. Whereas not so much you guys, but everywhere, isn't it? All the time. Mess.
So it doesn't matter if you're shit on the pitch then.
This is not that. This is not that though, is it?
That's devastating.
So
Just fucking lies.
there's no need to lie. There's no need to lie.
Well
He's
done.
also been the most consistent player here for 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot better to say than
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
fold
Let's be
those
honest.
socks.
So, Hunty,
Cheers, mate.
Difficult season last year for everyone, obviously. No fans, issues in the management, management of the club, manager's office, whole piece. There was, it wasn't a happy time for any of us. And trying to watch from home on iFollow, the whole piece was a mess. Suffice to say, this season it was fantastic from a fan's point of view, seeing you get back to your best. Have you felt that this season, prior to the injury, obviously, and sorry about that, but did you feel prior to the injury you were back to your best, or getting back to your best?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mate, you're far too humble. Basically, under Williams, you were absolute top draw. Last season was a bit like, but for pretty much everyone, this season it was a bit like, are we going to see like season 1 Rob Hunt? And I genuinely think we have.
The players you play with, like the identity of the team 2 years ago and now is quite similar. We've got two good squads 2 years ago and now, and play with better players. I think it brings out the best in you as well.
Yeah, but mate, you've been mustered at centre half as well when you've gone in there this season. If you told me I was going to see Rob Hunt as a centre back, I would have been like, nah.
Yeah, I would have been the same.
So is it? But was that like just a fairly natural switch for you?
I don't know. It's just what was needed on them games. So I mean, it is what it is. Just turn up, play. Hopefully do well, because it's a new position, and yeah, thankfully did all right.
We was watching Azpilicueta on YouTube.
Yeah.
Studying him.
No, well done, Anthony. Well done, mate. It's richly deserved. And when the guys suggested it across all the other voting parties, we were all in agreement as well, mate. So yeah, tremendous.
Nice.
Great to have you back, and fingers crossed we'll see you next season as well.
Yeah, nice one, cheers.
Right, so next one, Rich, we get you to present this one. This is the Fans Player of the Year Award. As I said, we had thousands of votes across the categories. Over the moon to say that the Fans Player of the Year Award for the Sir Tom Broadbent Lounge is actually in the room. And Rich, over to you.
the winner, very well deserved, Mr. Lewis Reed.
Good
Louis, we talked about, appreciate the fat lady's still not sung in relation to this season, but I said about at the start of the season, you just seemed to come to the club from nowhere, and we were genuinely like, bloody hell, like we knew that we had a player on our hands. How's the season felt for you, sort of anchoring on midfield? How's it felt for you watching it all unfold around you and getting to where we are in the league now?
I think, like what Jonny's just said, the people around you make it so much easier. I can't just say like, oh, because I've come in and that's why we are where we are. The group that we've got is, for this division, is ridiculous, and that 100% helps me out.
Feel settled in the area?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
And obviously we're all dreaming of a team of Louis Reeds as well. Tell me what goes through your mind when you see people at Crawley dressing up like Louis Reed.
It's weird. It's good to watch. I think the fans, like, both home and away, and I'm like, I have something to say about it, but yeah. But no, I think
it worked, didn't it?
On a
It
whole,
did work, to be
fans
fair.
home and away have been pretty good this season.
Yeah.
And they do drive us on.
In fairness, yeah, like just going back to that, Harry, like all joking aside, it needed to be said.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I come at this from a point of view of being a fan for 30 years, 20 of which has been like absolutely in the doldrums. There's been a couple of little spikes, Di Canio, Richie Wellens, lovely, but then it all fell apart really quickly afterwards. And you've got to remember, like from a fan's point of view, you go through 20 years of just getting kicked in the knackers, like just over and over and over again. And loads of false dawns as well. You've got to remember, we've had people coming here saying, going to take the club over, it's all going to change, everything's on the up again. Meanwhile, from a fan's point of view, you sit and go like, here we are, like we've got a town of like 250,000 people, all these big blue chip brands have got their headquarters here, you know, just waiting for someone to light the touch paper, and all those, like, it comes, it's almost, we're almost there, and then it all goes flat again. So those moments are quite hard to just sort of swallow and just get on with. But there's this lovely feeling around the club at the moment I don't think I've experienced before, where you're actually feeling it happen. The problem was that if you've got a bunch of fans sat in the crowd that have been through like 20 odd years of that as well, collectively as a fan base, you can imagine what that does to you. I mean, been a Chelsea fan, Harry, do you know what I mean? You won't remember the 80s.
It's been tough, ain't it? There's been anything about 11 months.
12 months without a piece of silverware. It's, you know.
God, that must be terrible, man.
No, but if you get my meaning, boys, like, yeah, so it's...
Actually, we won a Club World Cup. So.
It needs that little jolt. It needed that jolt. And, I mean, Rob, you'll remember Richie came out and did something very similar, didn't he? Gave it that jolt, and it really made a difference in that squad. Are you seeing those similarities in terms of, obviously, Harry's piece, what Richie said back then?
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, the fans home and away that period of time and this season have been very good. Harry was right in what he come out and said, and they reacted in a positive way, which is good for all parties.
Yeah. Well, the lovely thing was they reacted against Forest Green, and then you got it again at Barrow. Were you? I don't want to say surprised. Was it a nice surprise? But I will use that word. Was it a nice surprise, guys, to see like the fans turn out again on? I mean, Tuesday nights, that's a big attendance. But against Barrow, who only brought 150 odd fans down themselves, like to see that amount of people in the county ground must have been pretty special. Anything that you would say to the Swindon fans, like obviously ahead of Saturday, anything that you want to say to them, because there's a load of them listening in.
No, I think away from home they spoke for themselves. There's been, you look at Barrow the other day, they must play away from home and think, fucking hell, what's the point in this? Like, there's 50 people there. Everywhere we've gone, there's been fans. Even when we went to Barrow and Hartlepool, we've took loads of fans. Away from home, it's been bang on. It's just at home we've had numbers all season, and the atmosphere simply wasn't very good for most of it. That can be down to us, but also from kick-off it was flat as well. And like you said, it's been a long time not very good, so that might be a reasoning. But Saturday, I don't think we need to say anything to like get the fans going. Like, they've been brilliant all season. We appreciate them coming, and Saturday should be a party-like atmosphere, and it's just
set the standard now, aren't we? In the stands, we set the standard.
Exactly.
So now you've got to stick the beat us all with.
Do you guys actually feel more pressure playing at home than you? Is it, you know, you can express yourself a bit more without the expectation to perform, you know, in front of the county ground faithful, or?
I don't personally. Speaking to the lads, I don't think so. I think like, another thing is like teams come here like, and they're not expecting to win, so they're pretty deep, and it's hard to break down. And when the home fans are watching, it looks quite frustrating. But when we're going away from home, like say like the Harrods and Hartlepool who we played recently, even though we're going to be the more dominant team, they can't just sit in. They're going to have to try and give it a go, which suits us. So I feel like it's always going to suit us a bit more away from home. But in general, I don't think I like playing here. I know all the lads like playing here, so I don't think it's a pressure thing. I just think it's just the way it's gone, really. But the last 2 games have shown that when the fans get behind us, the response.
I'll let him in.
It's the boss.
Guys, what?
Yeah.
I'll leave you.
Come and join us.
Clem comes out.
Clem.
But I think, Harry, the most important thing is, like, you called the fans out. You said we've got to meet in the middle. And I think the last 2 games, it's been all about that. I think the fans have responded to your challenge. I think you've also responded to the fans' challenge as well. And that you could see that collectively. I mean, that was special on Saturday. When that equaliser went in, talk about historically that battering we've taken as Town fans, right? When that equaliser went in, I can't tell you how many times I felt that over the last 20 years. This horrible sinking feeling goes down the middle of your chest, and I was stood there like, I was like, here we go again, like here we go again. And it's not about you guys in this season; it's a Swindon Town thing. And there's something really special that 2 minutes later you pop up, Louis, and do what you did. And I don't know if you heard it, but there was a clip that went around on Twitter that was just behind, like in line with when you struck. And just as you literally wound your right foot back, you hear the town in collectively go, shoot! And then the ball goes flying in. And like, I've never heard that noise before on a clip like that from inside the stand. And I think it kind of touches on what I'm trying to say. So anyway, fingers crossed. Like you've moved you guys collectively are moving the club to a different level. You've got like the fans thinking in a different way. That's a major achievement in itself.
Just a quick one on that as well. It's like, how much easier is it to bounce back, like with the equaliser on the weekend when the fans like get behind you? Because obviously that goes in. It's kind of like oh crap, this isn't great. Like when the fans kind of get behind you straight away from the break, is it a lot easier to kind of bounce back from, or is it?
Yeah, 100%. It's almost like you don't actually think that they've equalised. It's just like we know we're going to score again. It was similar with the Forest Green game. Obviously, we're in the lead. We go down to 10 men. I think early on in the season we might not have hung on like we did, but I think the fans with us as well.
12 man.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Previous years, there have been an equaliser, and as a Town fan, you're thinking, here we go. When's the second going to come, and we're going to capitulate like the England cricket team? You get one, and then all of a sudden. But I think this season, especially, you think, okay, well they've got one back, or they've equalised. We'll get another one. Keep the faith. And okay, I didn't think it would take 2 minutes to get.
Exactly 2 minutes.
On Saturday,
it's got the break, but
it's. I think you know, to go back with Mark saying, I think this year it does feel as if there's something special brewing, and I think most Town fans are starting to realise that with just a little bit of belief, and it seems like you guys certainly have got belief internally that it can lift you up that extra level to to achieve something great.
Yeah, right there. How many got left, Ty?
Just the one. Our player of the year, mate.
All right. So our player of the year. Go on, Ty. Over to you. You should say a little bit. You should say a little bit about this person.
Should I?
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should. You said enough about him on social media this year, mate.
True. So our player of the year's gone also to Reedy. He's had a brilliant season. I think Carlisle was one of my favourite away days in Crewe as well, because seeing Reedy score 2 hurders in the first round of the cup.
Really, talk us through that rocket, mate. Because I'll tell you what, that was our runner-up for our goal of the season, and it was really, really close. Like, do you remember like lacing that? I mean, talk us through it, because that practically broke the net, mate.
I don't remember too much about it, to be honest. It was one of them that sat too nice to take a touch and try and pass it elsewhere. It was, I think from that distance I wouldn't normally shoot, but it sat so nice, and thankfully it's gone in.
Yeah, wallet. Scotty Twine vibes.
I'm not 4 in one game though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Nah, well done, Lou. I mean, like,
4 in one game.
Not Phantom for that.
Absolutely.
I forgot about
that. Yeah, I mean, tremendous season. Really. I mean, in terms of obviously, again, we've still got hurdles to cover. But if you put yourself back in the shoes that you when you first arrived at the Canning Ground, like, could you have envisaged it's gone as well as it has for you?
Probably not. I think, like Willow said, it was more about coming somewhere to enjoy playing again. I know I managed to win promotion. I'm not going to say when did anyone else, but last season. But it was one of those where I was kind of in and out, and I want to come somewhere, settle down, and start enjoying my football again, and that's what I've done.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you're very welcome here, mate. Please hang about, because yeah, it's tremendous seeing you. Lovely thing about this side, guys, is like that word technician. You know, we've got technicians out on the pitch. You know, and as a football club, as I'm sure you know, like I can take it right back to '93, go back to, you know, before then, Aussie Ardiles, Glenn Hoddle. The style of football that this club's associated with is exactly what you guys are putting out there at the moment. So yeah, like keep the faith. People really do believe in you know, in that system, and I know you guys have taken a bit of a battering. You know, you can. I know the verbals, Harry, you've addressed them. Some of the things that get shouted from the crowd, just fingers in the ears, mate, because you can see it's that Swindon DNA, and it's only going to get better and better and better. I think you used the words, Harry, about when we get it going, and I think it just feels like it's just getting better and better and better. I mean, like the last 4 of the last 5 teams just can't live with us. So cheers, guys. We really, really appreciate it. It's been a cracking season. Anything to add, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up with these gentlemen this evening? Anything to add?
I'll just jump in real quick if you can hear me. I just want to say, like, thanks lads for all the support with the work and everything. Just keep it up on the pitch. Obviously, you're smashing it. Just make sure your celebrations for the rest of this year and next year are decent, so that I can do some decent designs for you as well.
You're just looking at doing a Wembley edition, aren't you?
Oh yeah. That's going to be the big one. If you lads get that playoff final, that's going to be a big sell. But no, like I say, just appreciate all the support and just keep grinding, lads, and make sure the celebrations are decent.
Up the Donny.
Up the Donny.
Up the Donny. Boys, have you got any questions for us? Bear in mind, you're the players. It's very rare. I wouldn't normally ask that, but 2 weeks ago we had Paul Caddis on the show, and we said, Paul was like, I want to ask you guys a bunch of questions, and then we ended up spending another 20 minutes talking from his perspective. We want to know what people were thinking in the crowd. So I'll put that to you. This has become a bit of a feature of our show. If there's anything you want to ask us, ask away. But if not, that's us done for the afternoon. Smash it.
Oh no.
Jonah, you're quiet, mate.
Well,
Jonah,
what we were going to kind of end on was a little kind of like, we thought it's only right and proper as the credits roll, mate, that you sing us out.
Come on.
Go on, Jonah.
Take centre stage.
You need to get on camera.
Camera's rolling, Jonah. Camera's rolling.
Hoops will film it for his TikTok.
Jonah.
Hoops is going to win an award for the old.
Jonny, you got 50 live viewers on Twitch, mate. You can't let them down. You got 50 people watching.
Jonah, I've never known you be so bashful. No, I think honestly, guys, it's been an absolute treat. Steve, Jonah, thanks for hosting us, mate. It's been a real privilege to have joined you. Thanks to Jay from the Great Western Reds, and to our partners from Verilogic, Rich and Dan, joining us online. Dan, thanks ever so much for your support. The first time we've done, guys, obviously the channel was only born in November, and it's mushroomed into something really special. Hopefully we'll be back again next year, and hopefully we'll be handing you all some more awards. Hopefully all of you individually as well, because I really do mean it's a treat watching you boys play. So thanks ever so much for coming in, lads.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
No worries.